Hi, Ethan.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Ari.
Oh, hi.
Today I was planning on making a lot of different videos, but one of them was a video called Demystifying Bioplastics. And so I did a bunch of research on bioplastics, but I feel like I didn't do enough to demystify it. So instead, it's going to be a conversation about bioplastics with Ethan Willick.
Hi. Ethan Willick here.
Ethan, what is your understanding of bioplastics currently?
Okay, my first question I asked was, aren't all plastics made of bio? Like, it is all organic matter that has been condensed, hasn't it?
That's true. Bioplastics are, or all plastics are made out of either petroleum or plants, and petroleum, or some plastics are made out of natural gas, and some are made out of crude oil, but all of those are made out of biological material. Some of it has just been compressed for a super long time. But if I say the term bioplastic, like if you see a cup and it says made out of bioplastic, what does that mean to you?
To me, it means that it is probably plastic derived from organic matter. Like, my assumption, I remember at summer camp, they would have these like spoons and forks made out of corn.
Yep.
And the counselors would tell us that they're edible because they're made out of corn.
Yes.
And we would try and eat them.
Okay.
Is that bioplastic?
That is bioplastic. So bioplastic can be based on plants, or it can be compostable or biodegradable. So here's some weird things about bioplastics.
Wait. You can make things compostable or biodegradable without using plants?
Yes.
Oh.
Some crude oil or natural gas based plastics are biodegradable. Biodegradable does not mean compostable. So that's another thing. There's these two words. Compostable means you can put it in your compost bin in your backyard and it will turn into compost. Biodegradable means it will eventually biodegrade, but the regulation around that is so much weaker and there's not a clear definition. And so a lot of companies that are making plastics say that their plastic is biodegradable, but there's not, at least in America, a definition of what that means. And so it could mean
so anything could be biodegradable.
Kind of. I mean, so like PFAS takes like fucking forever to biodegrade.
Language.
Sorry.
You need to beef that out.
Takes a long time, longer than humanity expects ourselves to live. But also, like, I imagine like a thin plastic bag is expected to degrade after 1,000 years. Maybe a company could consider that to be biodegradable.
You got a prop.
Yes,
Sitting
this plastic bag.
You.
So, the thing is, not all bioplastics are biodegradable. Some are just not, they're not biodegradable or compostable. And some are
wait,
compostable.
There are some bioplastics that are not biodegradable.
There are bioplastics.
Compostable. What is it then? What is
we can turn organic matter, we can do chemical reactions to it that make it extremely similar to petroleum-based plastics so that they can be used for similar purposes, but they don't break down.
So are they better in any way?
They're better, kind of. They're better in the way that if we ran out of crude oil and natural gas, that we could make them still. But they aren't necessarily better for the environment. They could have a bigger carbon footprint, which is common for a lot of bioplastics, because they're using more land. Like, if you're making plastic out of corn, you gotta water that corn. That corn takes up real estate. That corn could be used for other things. So those are like the big misconceptions. And it's confusing. Plastic could be petroleum based and be able to be biodegraded, and a plastic could be plant based and not be able to be biodegraded.
So the term bioplastics encompasses like 3 different fully separate things.
Yes. And so basically what that means is the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry in their thing defines, they have like a whole document talking about bioplastics, not just bioplastics, but other things too. And they define the word bioplastic, and then they have 4 notes, and one of them is don't use the word bioplastic. Use the term bio-based polymer, which excludes things that are compostable or biodegradable. It just means bio-based. And but they explicitly say like be careful because bioplastic might imply that something is environmentally friendly when it isn't. Um, Basically, you've got bio-based and petroleum-based, and then you have biodegradable, compostable, recyclable, and nothing. Um, and you have plastics in all. If you've got like your 4x2 grid, you have plastics in all of those buckets. Um, and those plastics do different things, and so it's really confusing. And there's not a lot of public education about it, and a lot of the companies that are trying to do public education about it are incentivized to slightly lie about what these words mean because they're trying to sell you bioplastics.
What
Um,
what are the best type of plastics? Like, okay, because there are some plastics that it sounds like have a high carbon footprint and will never disappear from the universe. That feels bad. There are
yeah,
some plastics that sound like they have a high carbon footprint and are going to disappear eventually, and that sounds a little better. I imagine there are some plastics that have a lower carbon footprint and will disappear eventually. Those are probably the best.
so that's the thing. You can have plastics that are compostable. So the other thing is there's compostable in your backyard and there's compostable in industrial facility. Um, in my opinion, you don't want plastics that are compostable in your backyard because plastics that are compostable in your backyard will compost in your cabinet.
Oh, wait, can I show the bags?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna. Um, we got these bio bags. This is a inverse endorsement. What's that called? Like a dis recommendation.
A bad review.
Yeah. Okay. Ready? So, with a bag, you're supposed to be able to like open it and reseal it, but instead it just comes apart like this. So then, of course, you try to do it on the other side, and then it comes apart at the seam like this, and also along the seam because the whole seam like has biodegraded into itself.
So this says used within 1 year of purchase. It also says so this is actually still not home compostable. It says may not be suitable for home composting. I wouldn't chew on that necessarily. Um, it says appropriate facilities may not exist in your area. To locate a facility, use findacomposter.com. So that's the other thing is a big downside with compostable plastics is you still likely need an industrial compost facility. You might have one near you and it still might not be graded for the compostable plastic that you have. So for example, I forget what state it is. It's like I think it's Maryland. They say don't put compostable plastic in your compost because our facilities are not rated for it. And even if their facility is rated for it, a lot of facilities get just any plastic because the education is really bad and the labeling is really bad. And so the compost facility the compost facility has a bunch of plastic in their compost that they need to sort out, which is really difficult. Um yeah. So that's like the what is section. I have other things. So
And you were saying you
uh,
didn't even understand
I do
it.
understand, but I want to understand it better. I don't. I want it to be fully demystified. I don't have like great whatever. So why are bioplastics currently used? High cost and lack of access. There's not a lot of companies making them. Right now, I think it's like 1% of all plastics are bioplastics, and 5% of plastic produced domestically is being recycled. So it's like almost all plastic is getting thrown away. Okay. Oh, why aren't bioplastics currently used? So it's high cost, lack of desirable material properties. So a lot of times people using plastic are using it for its durability and its heat resistance, and bioplastics are weaker and they degrade under heat, which is what a lot of industrial compost facilities are using that they're able to break down compostable plastics. Um, Lack of specialized disposal infrastructure. We need compost facilities everywhere in the US in order to be using this type of compostable plastic. All the time, I go to a random cafe, they give me a cup that's compostable because they probably bought it thinking that it was like it would decompose in a waste bin. Um, I drink it. They don't have a compost, so I have to throw it away. And this cup is not going to decompose properly in a giant trash heap because it's not getting the agitation and heat that it needs to break down. So it's just sitting there like everything else in the trash heap is. And then the last thing is confusion, lack of public education. A lot of people don't even understand what bioplastic is and what the differences are between different kinds of bioplastics and whether what type of bin they're supposed to put them in. So this is what I was thinking about. It's like, what is the future of plastic usage? So right now, estimates are the world is going to run out of oil by 2052 and run out of natural gas by 2060. So if I expect that as we get closer to that, the prices will increase and we won't run out. But I think that bioplastics or like plant-based polymers are going to increase significantly. That doesn't mean that we're going to be recycling them properly or composting them or
it doesn't even mean they'll be compostable at all.
Yes, it doesn't mean that either. Um, so here's what. So then I was thinking about all these things, and oh, here's the other thing. I'm a mechanical engineer. Theoretically, I should understand this stuff. I took multiple material science classes, and bioplastics were never mentioned. Like,
really?
Yes. Like, I should know this, but I don't because my education didn't teach me. Public schools don't talk about this at all. They talk about recycling in like vague terms, but not specific terms. Um, and they don't talk about composting at all, at least in my memory. And that pisses me off. And oh, the other thing, when I'm at work, I'm buying plastics um, on large scale because I'm making designs that are going to result in large amounts of plastic being produced in order to be sold. And so you would think that me understanding what the different kinds of plastics are would matter for that purpose. But I'll tell you, at work, we care about not using PFAS because there's regulation around it, and we care about the material properties of the plastic. That's it. Because there's no regulation about what kinds of plastics engineers can use. So here's what I think regulation should look like. One, build proper industrial composting facilities that can accommodate the maximum amount of compostable bioplastics through a federal program and standardize national compost facilities so that number two, education can be standardized. We need a system that is teaching how plastics can be composted, what kinds of plastics can go into the compost in public schools and in PSAs. That's going to take a lot of money.
Can we back up a sec?
Yes.
What plastics can we compost?
That's a great question.
Because I mean, we have access to composting infrastructure, and we don't even compost.
Yes, we need a compost bin. That's something I thought about.
Yeah,
we need
put it on the list. We have a list now.
Yes. Okay. What kinds of plastics can be composted? This is PLA. This is a 3D printed filament. It is the most popular 3D printed filament. It's a really good material, and it is made out of plant starch, maybe corn. It is compostable in an industrial facility, but I don't know if we can compost it locally. That's a good thing to look up.
I'm looking it up right now. So that kind of implies.
I'm going to say that the answer is no. So living in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which is probably one of the counties that cares the most about this kind of thing in the U.S., which does have compost, does not accept PLA, which is able to be broken down in industrial compost facilities. But it needs to be about 140 degrees Fahrenheit, which they maybe don't have. These probably could be composted in Cambridge's facility, but PLA can't. Regulation. So that was thing number one and thing number two. We need proper industrial composting facilities that are standardized at a federal level, and we need education. How are we funding that? One, a year-over-year increasing excise tax on petroleum-based plastics and non-compostable bio-based plastics for corporations. So right now, my company has almost no reason to not be buying this. I think in the short term, it could look like something like a 10% excise tax. So not like insano amounts, but enough that companies will start to care and say, every year it's going to increase 10% until it's 150% 15 years from now. Like, and then like unlike Trump's tariffs, which scare the stock market, this allows people time to develop alternate solutions and time for corporations to switch over, which is something we should have done 20 years ago, but today is just the second best option. Thing number two.
Oh, there's more.
Yes, so the excise tax, that's like the easy one. I think that that's probably going to be what the regulation actually looks like if it were to get implemented by someone like Bernie Sanders, even though it won't be Bernie Sanders. Thing number two,
EU. That sounds like an EU regulation.
The thing number two, I want to fine individuals and corporations for not properly disposing of compostable bioplastics and other waste, so that would include trash and recyclables, through random audits of waste disposal receptacles. This would be controversial. People aren't going to like it that they're every month or so, if they're throwing things in the wrong bin, their trash collector is taking a look at it and giving them a $100 fine. But this is what we need in order to enforce this system. The problem is, what is going to stop you from getting a fine from someone else putting something in your receptacle? It's not currently legal to put something in someone else's receptacle, but it's something that people do, and the only way to stop it is a surveillance state, which is not good.
I got a solution.
You could lock your bins.
I got a solution for this whole thing. South Korea. So in South Korea, every specific day of the week, your neighborhood all gets together at one spot and puts your trash in the trash, like, what's it called? The garbage truck.
In the truck.
Yes. You all line up in a line. Everyone's chatting with each other. You put your recycling in the recycling bin. You put your compost in the compost truck. They come around, and they play music like an ice cream truck almost. And if you don't have the right stuff, your neighbors shame you. It's like very public, very like people will notice if you are not throwing your stuff in the compost bin.
Yeah.
And the ice cream truck music makes it seem fun. It's like a
social
vibe. They're all coming around. Everyone's hanging out with their neighbors.
I like the idea of this. I'm curious how it would go in America, just culturally.
Yeah.
One big thing that I'm thinking about with all of this regulation recommendation is rural America.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely parts of rural America that currently don't have recycling facilities. And so it's hard to advocate for a compost facility when they don't even have recycling.
Although farmers love compost because it's good for their crops and it's cheap. And I have seen in a lot of brewing plants I've been to, they will take the grain and sell it to farmers because they like it because I like cheap compost.
Yeah.
Or they feed it to animals also.
Okay. That's my thoughts on compost. Bye, Ethan. Bye, Ari. That's not the thing.
That's not.
If you like this video, like and subscribe. And if you didn't like this video, fuck you.
I just realized your camera isn't flipped the way it's supposed to be. What's the deal with that?
What do you mean?
Like, it goes opposite.
Oh yeah.
Like, normally the mirror goes mirrored.
Here, if I did this, that would fix it.
No.
Now when you move your hand to the right, it goes to the right. See, that's good.